Okay. Try not to look right into the light because it's so bright, but I want to talk about a hand that I played at MGM, the new casino that opened up on Friday. Um, I had Jack 8, and my opponent made it $7 pre-flop. I was sitting on 500. He was sitting on about 250. No, he's sitting on like 350. He made it $7. I called Jack 8 suited. I flopped a pair of jacks. On the flop, he bet $20, and I had some backdoor draws because I had diamonds. I called this 20. Another guy called this 20. On the turn, I made my second pair, jacks and 8s. But on the turn, it completed a straight, couple straights. On the turn, he bet $50. And I figured since he's been drinking and I've seen him make risque decisions, I decided to call him. Then on the river, he bombed it for 180. And during my thinking process, I kind of tried to rule hands out. And it really looked like he got strong on the turn when I made a second pair. And if that's the case, he might have been strong from the flop. But if that's the case, he's strong when I made my second pair, then he has a straight, one of the two possible straights he can have. It's either that or he had a set or two pair on the flop, and if he had two pair on the flop, I'm beating him. But if he had a set on the flop, I'm losing, and if he had a straight on the turn, I'm losing. So on the river, I was gonna fold because it was for a couple $100, and I just had jacks up. And before he folded, I thought, well, the guy's had a few drinks. Let me talk to him. Let me see if I can get him to betray his hand. And I asked him. I said, "You had me beat." Just a simple question. You got me beat. And instead of not answering the question, which would have led to me folding my hand, because he's repping exactly what I can't beat, and the only thing I can beat is like some kind of weird combination of two pair on the flop, which he slow played and then started betting on the turn. He looked at me and said, "I got you beat." Let's just put it that way. I got you beat. And my read on what he said was he did betray his hand, because what he's saying is, if he had like a nut hand, like a nut straight, or one of the two possible straights, I don't think he'd look at me and say, "I got you beat." I think he'd want to get a call, and so he'd want to look weak. But I think since if he didn't have a nut straight hand, or one of the two straights, I think if he had those kind of hands, he would look at me and say something like, "No, I got a set," or "No, I have you beat." And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but my perspective on the hand was that the hands I was worried about wouldn't have said anything when I asked them questions about the hand. And the hands that I could beat and bluffs would say something to make their hand seem stronger than it really was, or to prevent a hand like mine from calling. Just in case he had a smaller two pair and I had him beat, he had just a pair and I had him beat, or he had a bluff and I had him beat. And based on that read, I called. And he had jacks up as well, but he had jacks and fours. So I beat him. It's a really big pot. $550 in the pot. But the point is that even when you feel like, man, I can't call, it's too much money, everything says they have this hand or this hand, I'm only crushing like two or three hands, everything else is beating me. Sometimes it pays to read your opponent, converse with them, and think about analytically and logically what they're saying and why they're saying it. And what would you say and why would you say it? if you were in the same situation and you weren't a professional. And I thought that was an important video to make, so that's why I made it. Bye.